Okay, so far our application that we built is a little bit sort of mocked, like it doesn't really do anything. We're sending events to the machine like to-dos loaded or loading to-dos failed, but we're not actually really doing anything proper. It's just like a frame of an app. So to do that, we're going to need to actually load the to-dos from somewhere. And we're going to need to make use of something called a service in order to do that. We've looked at actions briefly before, and actions are a way to do something mostly synchronous or mostly that takes like 0 time. And services are things that you use to take a long time, over a long period of time. So async operations, listeners, all sorts of powerful stuff can be done with a service. So our to-dos machine, we're going to open the visual editor. And inside our loading to-dos, by the way, you notice that our little action there, console log to-dos, is still a part of the state chart there. That's why we use the name. So loading to-dos, we're going to invoke a service on it. What does that mean? We're going to add invoke source, and we're going to call this load to-dos. And let's actually give it a camel case name for fun. Load to-dos. So on our load to-dos invocation, what we're going to do is we're going to say when this is done, it's kind of like an async operation. In fact, let me show you how to implement it first. We've got load to-dos just there, and inside our index.ts file, you should notice that this starts erroring now if you've got typegen set up. And it's erroring because we haven't passed in our services and our load to-dos function. We're going to pass in a promise here. And our promise, what it's going to do is it's going to grab the to-dos from somewhere and essentially return them. And when we return if we return like a list of, let's say, take bins out, and I can't think of another to do. Do laundry, let's say. When we return these list of to-dos, what we're going to do is it's going to return back to the machine with the result. So you can think of a service as basically something that XState says, okay, go and do this thing and then come back in a minute, And that's what we're waiting for here. So when we kind of wait for the promise to be resolved, we're in this loading to-do state. And this to-dos loaded thing here isn't actually going to work very well for us as an event. What we need to do instead is listen for that load to-dos to be done and then go to the to-dos loaded. So the way that we do that is if I just delete this here, notice that it goes away there. Inside this invoke, we're going to say onDone, and we're going to target, let's say, to-dos loaded. And we'll save that there. So because I made a change in the left-hand side that was sort of like a little bit destructive, or it changed some things, then it auto-layouted here. But you should notice that we've got now a done load to-dos, and we go to to-dos loaded. And we can do the same thing here with the error. So if I turn this into an invocation error event, then it says error load to-dos, and that goes on error there. So this means now that we don't need these events anymore. And in fact, I'm just going to comment these out. But we do need to type our services strongly. Because our load to-dos, it returns some to-dos as its kind of data that it sends back. And so we're going to say services, and we're going to call this load to-dos. And this is going to be, in fact, I'm going to use the same pattern as I used above, which is this empty object as load to-dos. And this is a object with data, and the data is going to be the to-dos that we bring back. So here, yeah, console log to-dos, you'll notice that it's never used in the machine definition. That's the XState VS Code extension telling you that. So we can get rid of these actions for now. And let's now go back to index.tsx and load to-dos. It's now like properly typed. And if we return something like a number here, it's going to start moaning at us because type number is not assignable to type string. Because we've said that this service always returns a list of to-dos. So how do we kind of make use of that then? And what is this going to do in our app right now? Well, we can simulate it by going onDone, to-dos loaded, okay. So in theory then, because this takes sort of no time at all, when we look at our application, it's going to run load to-dos, wait for the results, and then go to to-dos loaded. So let's see if that happens. So we should be able to refresh the page, and almost immediately we're in to-dos loaded. If we say, let's say we throw an error inside here, error, oh no, and then we'll save that file, then we end up in loading to-dos errored, which is kind of interesting. So we've now got a service that can go and grab any information we need that takes any length of time. It's just a promise. It returns that to us, and it will tell us if it's errored.